get back and let's enjoy the show.
I can't believe Goldberg forgot his shirt. Such a classic Goldberg.
All right.
I dropped the shoulder for Solo.
All right. We are TBI 3 balls in. It's PJs. It's Dave Oates Logan. It's the finale of TBI for the 2021-22 season. Boys, we made it through 25 plus episodes of TBI. And honestly, there's nothing better than being here once a week with you two. We're going to miss it, but we got a show for the ages. And just to get us started, we've got a guest already.
Oh, baby, already. Starting off with a blast.
Yeah,
how you doing?
I am. Clink. What up? Clink in the house.
Well, I guess there goes the big surprise.
Yeah, thanks, Clink.
Thanks, Clink. Thanks, Davo.
I know. Thanks, Clink, for joining us. I mean, whatever.
A surprise. It's on the screen.
No, it's not on for our YouTube subscribers. It's not there yet.
Oh,
Clink is joining us. Thanks, Clink, for joining us. We just need you to unmute and turn your camera on. Of course, Clink is in the car right now. So
Davo doing Davo things.
That's not a WFAN dig. That's actually there he is.
Well, what's up, everybody? Sorry about that.
Just to give people some reference here, Clink is not only one of, I think, the third oldest tenured Jewballer, right? Clink, you started what, 2005? 2006?
Something like that, yeah.
Right. So Clink is the third oldest or third most veteran Jewballer, still playing today, but also you had maybe not a comeback season award type of a season, but you had yourself your first full season in a long time. How did it feel? And champion as well.
Well, it was awesome. Well, on a personal level, it's just amazing. The fact that I can get back out there every single week is beautiful. On a winning level, I mean, I'm just glad to be a part of it and to help. I mean, I'm, last guy picked. It's not like I look at the stat line. I didn't really change the game that much, but it's awesome. It's it's good to be a part of it.
Just to be fair, you were the first pick of the 8th round. You weren't the last guy picked. All right.
On the team.
Okay, on your team. Correct.
Yeah, but Clink, there were also 3 guys picked after you.
Right.
Yes.
Still the last pick of the team. But last but not least, you definitely played an integral part to the Cronies championship. And their biggest detriment to their team was that they weren't healthy. And you going into the season haven't been healthy in a while. And you literally did the exact opposite of what was happening. You stayed healthy and you definitely contributed. Don't sell yourself short, man. I think you had a great season and I think you made big plays.
Well, I mean, that comes down to clean living.
I love it.
So you went green? Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly. It keeps you young. It keeps you in shape. I mean, that's what the best thing about Jewball is. It keeps you being better. That's what this game is. With leagues, without it's just getting yourself up and going. So this year, yeah, it's been a great year. And next year I might actually get some sort of improvement.
Yeah, I mean, Clink, obviously, for those of you who don't know, the Cronies won the championship yesterday in dominating fashion, as they've done really all season long. Clink, you were the one player, I think, outside of Jordan and possibly Munch and Solo who played. No, I'm sorry, just Solo, right? Who played in every game. So
I missed one.
Oh, you did miss a game? Okay.
Yeah.
But
I missed the loss.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's
why.
Not maybe. That's why.
But
so it's maybe not undefeated with Gronk, undefeated with Clink.
Right. Gronk and Clink both not being there. That's a big deal. But talk us through the team, right? Here you are, you're lining up with this team. Talk us through your guy who's in, sort of like in my position where you're not in the game at all times. You're in and off, just because of rotations. What do you see in your team? What did you see in your team that before winning the championship, you're like, yeah, this team's going all the way?
Motor.
Talk us a little about that.
It's the motor. It's crazy. Every single player on this team has an internal motor. They're all trying to prove to themselves or others, I don't know who, but everybody's running on high rev at all times. And that makes a difference. And then it's just planning your skill sets. Every single team has a super fast guy. And every single team has a a guy with good hands or big ups or something like that. And we would just the cronies, and it's just the motor. There's never been a not gang tackle.
And by the way, tackle, flag grab, but tackle.
No, I mean it. Even if it's just clean flag grabbing, if you miss a flag, there's always a guy right behind you grabbing that flag.
Yeah, it's true.
Some would call you guys killers.
Sorry. I don't mean it. It just happens.
Okay, so take us back 15, 17 years ago. Did you ever foresee 2022 Jewball being as powerful as it is?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I mean,
A visionary.
I figured it'd be bigger.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a hot take.
Davo,
Jordan, you hear that?
Davo, he sounds like you right now.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Just think about how many players we've had for multiple seasons and lost. We're all statistics guys here. I didn't actually run the numbers, but what's our retention rate?
Well, I mean, the last 4 or 5 years retention rate is the highest it's ever been. But going back,
who would have bet Klink comes on here, post-championship win, and starts talking about customer churn? Like, who had that? Like, he's talking about retention rate here. That's unbelievable. That's so good. Might be the most Klink thing ever.
But I'll put it like this. We did lose a few guys this season, right? We lost Sting. Zezzy.
He didn't lose Mo. It's like he didn't die. He just went to the army.
By the way, that's one of those things where you gotta watch. Well, let's not knock on wood and everything like that. We love you, Mo.
I'm back.
What I meant was obviously we lost him for the season for Jewball. But anyways, the point being is that we lost a few guys. Obviously, Sting to injury. Some guys not available as much as they had been. But you also gain a lot of guys as well. I think our retention rate the last 4 or 5 years has been probably the best it's ever been. But I remember back in those Jadwin games where a lot of those guys, some guys moved away, some guys won't come back on a football field ever again. It's hard. Listen, someone like me who's on the fence, Davo, about coming back next season, not because I don't want to be back next season, just because I may not be allowed to play again. We've had some guys who've had pretty bad injuries. Doggy's injury was pretty bad. I remember that one.
Yep.
Akiva's injury was pretty bad. I remember that one when I think he tore his ACL. Rada, when he played for us for a little bit, he had a bad injury. I think also like an ACL injury. And we've lost guys to significant injuries. So it's part of the game, right? It's part of why you do lose some of that retention. But I think for the most part, Jewball is strong now because we've got younger talent, and the keeping themselves in shape.
It's awesome.
By the way, even the Rooks are bringing new people to come video for us. So
it's gonna be great.
Or maybe not true this year Rook of the Year, but we've got guys who are bringing their brothers to come video who sound identical to themselves. That's amazing.
Yes, I mean the truth is that Jewball has exceeded my expectations. I know it can be bigger. I watched it grow so much in just 2 years back in the day.
Klink, Davo stole your screen.
Davo stole my screen.
I think Klink is trying to say that we should have 6 teams next year. That's what I'm hearing.
If we have enough players showing up in what's it called in the preseason, then we should.
But wait, now here's the question: do we do a snake draft or not?
I couldn't care less. I don't.
Klink, if we did a snake draft, you might have been the last pick of the last round.
That's why Klink doesn't want the snake draft.
You know what? Here's the deal, though. I don't care if I'm the last pick on the draft. I don't care. I'm still going to show up to my games. I'm still going to play as well as I can. and I'm still going to get the exercise and not turn into an old man.
That is one thing I can guarantee, that Clink will not stop. His motor will not stop. And that is one thing that I believe out of Clink's mouth. But that is 100% guarantee. Anyone who picks him up next year is going to be picking up a diamond in the rough.
But also, I just want to add on, he's also a guy, but he's also a player who understands the role in the team, right? He's not a guy who's going to get upset if he sits a couple of possessions. He's not going to be a guy who's going to get upset and be like, oh, I should be in the game. This is ridiculous. He's a guy who understands the role, understands where he should be, and just contributes every time he's on the field. I not to say, Clint, that we're in the same stratosphere, but I feel kind of the same mentality, and that is happy to be drafted, happy to be on a team, love to be out there. You know, when I contribute, I'll contribute. I'll do whatever I can for the team.
Yep. I'm with you on that. Listen, I gotta go. Okay.
Clink, dude.
Be good, brother.
Dude, I'm so happy you came on the last episode of the season. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out, Clinks.
Congrats again. Congrats, champion.
Thanks for having me.
League champion, Clinks.
Looks like he's got his ring right there. All right. All right, guys. Well, let's jump into yesterday's game, the championship game. Unfortunately, I could only go by Prager updates for myself, as I was away hanging out with MVP for the weekend. But let's jump into this game. I mean, early on, Yaron takes a 1-0 lead and hits Singer for a touchdown. Logan, you're in that game. What's going through your mind? You're like, man, our defense is top notch, but he gets an early score. What happens after that?
Look, I mean, obviously, Gronk shows up just to kind of even backtrack a little bit more. Gronk shows up to the game basically a minute before it starts, traffic, whatever it was. You knew baby at home. You got plenty of excuses, but anyway, he shows up a minute before and decides, you know what, I don't need any reps. I'm fine. Let's just start. I'm going to start cold, which is the most Gronk thing to do in a championship game, right? We proceed to stop Yaron on his first drive, dead ball first, and then immediately the first pass that Gronk throws is an interception. It was unbelievable. And despite that was like obviously his worst ball of the day. And he's like, oh, it's fine. We'll be good. Don't worry about it. We give up the touchdown, and the Lionhearts started to have a little bit of swagger, right? Like, this was something that I think that they came in somewhat unsure of themselves. They may have had a game plan, but that first drive that they had basically stalled out real early on. So, I think right there, that's a point where, you kind of second guess yourself. Whereas the cronies, we've seen Gronk throw interceptions. We've seen him get bored. We know we're still going to win. So, it wasn't something that rattled us, I think, as much as potentially Yaron's first interception. So, it was tough to see them. And by the way, it was a beautiful catch and throw by both Singer and Yaron. Give them both credit. It was a great route. It was a great pass. You don't love to see yourself going down 1-0, but I don't think any one of the cronies was really worried.
I see. Here you are. You're down 1-0, and then right away Gronk hits the guy who just seems to always show up in these big moments. Whether it feels like it's always against the Lionhearts, but he also had a big game against us in the final regular season game. It's Maor. Why aren't people guarding him? Seriously. Or is he just not a guardable?
I have to tell you, his nickname is Money, because Maor is money. And honestly, I know you weren't there, but for those who were there, both of his touchdowns, the defender was draped all over him. It wasn't he got open in the end zone. Both were really good D. I think it was Beast on the first one and Yaron on the second one, but both the defender was right there. And it just happened to be that Maor got both his hands on the ball. And as soon as Maor gets his hands on the ball, he's not letting go. That's just who he is. And both of them basically falling into the end zone. Unbelievable play. That man, I'm telling you, you need something. And by the way, I can't remember his second touchdown, but I know that his first touchdown was on 4th down, 4th and goal from the 2. So we're not talking about, if he drops it, we have another try. If we drop it, that is a gigantic momentum swing. So again, pressure situation, Maor comes up huge.
All right. Well, obviously he's the MVP of the game, but I want to go back to the Lionhearts for a second. I know that in the chat is one thing, but on this podcast, I want to say another thing. And that is, Yaron takes a lot of licks for his play at quarterback, but Yaron was the right quarterback to go against that line. I do believe that. He didn't have the best game. But also, when you think about that team, Dobbs and Beast were not healthy for that game. Dobbs and Beast both took injuries in the BOP matchup. Red Sunday, right, 2 weeks ago. A game in which a lot of people got hurt. You're talking about Jack being done for the season, myself being done for the season. Of course, well, Bob's season was over anyways, but but the point being here is that was a really rough game. He came in with 2 injured players, without one of his top targets on receiver, and he went out there and really did the best he could. And Walls, listen, Walls did everything he could, but he was also playing hurt. I think he had to leave the game at one point.
He did, yeah.
You're talking about just the attrition and the cronies came in, by the way, and that's not fair for me to neglect the cronies not having Steve-O and Goldberg, 2 major contributors, not playing in this game. Tabak obviously stepping up, getting to play.
By the way, not to cut you off, but Ben C also someone who contributed late into the season and also got injured on our way to a championship. Let's not take away from what he contributed as well. So yeah, we were also battling injury.
Yeah, I mean, so both teams really came in and knocked them. I think the injury bug hit Lionhearts more because the strength of your team was your line, right? The offensive, defensive line is the strength of your team. And that came in, even though, Munch has been battling an injury all season, you really wouldn't know it based on the stats, but he had been battling an injury all season. But Solo is obviously as good as ever. And by the way, if you're thinking about a number 2 pick next season, it's pretty obvious right now who your number 2 pick is. And if you don't draft Solo number 2, you're going to pay for it, whoever takes him after. So I don't know who the number 2 pick's going to be, if it's Prager, if it's Rabin, if it's Snow, whoever it's going to be number 2, you better take Solo if you have a chance to take him. It's a huge mistake not to.
By the way, it's never too early for a prediction for next year. I'm making a prediction that Solo gives Munch a run for his money for Defensive Player of the Year next year. So I'm predicting that right now. But just going back to your point about Yaron, I mean, you're right in the sense that Yaron had a bunch of speedy receivers, and Yaron probably gets rid of the ball faster than any quarterback. So he was kind of built, like you said, to go against this type of line. You do also have to question, Yaron didn't pick a lineman, unless you count Singer, didn't pick a lineman until the 5th round. Beast, who isn't really a lineman, he's more of a tight end, but he didn't pick lineman until the end of the draft. That's fine. He made it to the championship. We're not going to kind of second guess that, but our strength is our line. And at the end of the day, our line was able to do literally whatever they wanted. That's not a knock on Sam. That's not a knock on Walls. That's not a knock on Beast. That's not a knock on Zeta or Dobbs or whoever else played line. That's just a matter of the fact. Zada was tight end for a bunch, but like my point is,
he had to move to tight end because Beast was hurt.
That is not a knock on what the Lionhearts were doing. That is just the fact that 2 freaking all-stars came in and did what they wanted, right? Like when Michael Jordan would score 45, that's no one's fault. That's just Michael Jordan doing Michael Jordan things. Munch and Solo yesterday were exactly that.
And by the way,
hold on, I want to say something here.
Yeah, please.
So first off, I don't think the cronies' key is their line. It's their defense, the defense as a whole. Okay, because their line is really great, but if you can get your quick passes, first of all, you have Gronk who pulls every flag. You have Logan who pulls every tackle. You lost Steve-O, who's one of the best cornerbacks. You lost Goldberg, who's having a great season in the middle. Right. And then you have Jordan and Maor and Clint, who are pretty good at pulling flags. So all in all, it's just their defense as a whole. Yes, the line does cause the most havoc, and they do get a ton of sacks, and they definitely do help the interception rate go up for the cronies, but it's the defense as a whole. Second of all, I think the cronies actually had worse injuries than the Lionhearts. Yes, losing Jack is big. You still have 3 other receivers that you could throw to that are top class: Zada, Singer, and Ivry.
Wait, Dave, I'm going to interrupt you. Let's call it Zeta.
Well, the way Yaron uses them, it might as well be Zeta. Okay. And third of all, like you say that Yaron is the best quarterback to go up against the cronies. I hate to say this, and I love you, Yaron. Maybe I don't. You choked. Terrible game plan. I don't know if it's just because like you were trying to play from behind. Like you have Singer and you have Ivry, but you're not doing any like little dump off screens to let them run behind Singer.
Yeah,
he literally ran over the cronies multiple times, and not one play from behind him. Like you have to understand that if you don't have any time on the line, I got to get rid of this thing right away. And if you don't do that, like of course you're gonna lose. You're scrambling, you're running for your life. What the hell did you expect?
I think you bring up a really good point there. His strategy all season honestly was trying to get the ball out quick, right, and getting the ball out to the halfback, to the tight end screen, whatever it might be. Yes, he was known for doing that. It's a really, really fair point. All right, guys, we're interrupted right now. We've got another guest coming in on the final episode of TBI. It is none other than the commish himself, Jordan. Welcome back to TBI for the final episode. As Jordan's logging in, I just want to make one more point. I think in that situation, not having Jack and not having everyone at the same time, I think Yaron had to shift his game plan. Obviously, it didn't work for him, but I think in his mindset it was, I'm up 1-0. Let me keep doing what I'm doing. And again, you see it all the time. The teams make in-game adjustments win. The teams that don't make in-game adjustments usually lose. That's usually how it is. We're not there. Obviously, none of us were in the huddle. I'm sure he had a game plan. It just wasn't effective as he wanted it to. As Jordan has some technical difficulties, let's jump into something else though. And that's honestly Tabak. And Tabak's an interesting thing. He played with Fight Club, doesn't play in the playoff game, and then gets selected to be a replacement for the Cronies. He had himself a touchdown and a pick. But a lot of that came up in mop-up time, right, later in the game. But still a huge contribution.
The pick didn't. Just to be clear, the pick did not come in mop-up time.
Oh, did it? I'm sorry. That was.
But the touchdown, it was 4-2, and then we scored to make it. It wasn't cleanup time, but I think it's at one point we even talked about potentially whatever. Yeah, the touchdown was cleanup time, but he still played well.
All right, I believe Jordan is finally ready to join us. Jordan, you in? You ready? You good? Can you turn the mic on, the camera on? Are you keeping us waiting? Like the recap.
I feel like Jordan's been drinking a little bit of bourbon just to celebrate, and that's kind of what we're seeing right now.
I think Jordan is typing in the chat, and maybe we're getting the recap on TBI. Who knows?
So, by the way, until Jordan joins, just a point about your own game plan. So, we went into half 1-1. So, half, which I don't know why we did a halftime, but we went into half 1-1. Right. Honestly, I was surprised that we didn't see more screens to Ivry with Singer blocking. That being said, Yaron sometimes outthinks himself, but I really don't put this on Yaron. Sometimes he makes it more difficult than it has to be. Sometimes it's an obvious, just dump it and let Singer block. It works. But honestly, I don't really think Yaron, for all that he could have done with that type of line. And again, I'm not knocking the Lionheart's line. It's more of just a compliment to Solo and Munch that they literally did whatever they wanted. And quite frankly, and there's one specific play I remember, Ivry caught a screen on my side, cut to the middle, and Munch chased him down. From the line, after engaging, Munch chased him down and grabbed his flag. That's just how dominant they were that day.
Yeah, they're really good. But you go into that game knowing that, and you have to understand that if they're getting in on you, if you have no one blocking than you, then let them pursue, and then so you do a delayed dump. Again, you have to, like you said, you have to be able to make adjustments, and you have to be able to change. And this is a championship game. It's not like, okay, we lose this one, we'll get the next one. You gotta. Again, I'm not necessarily blaming only Yaron, but the Lionhearts are all together. They got to be better. It's the championship.
Yeah,
they play tougher on Red Sunday against us than they did against you guys on Sunday.
One could argue you had the same number of bot guys on our team as you did to your team, but let's not get into that.
No, we had the same amount of cronies as you guys did.
Right.
But again, they wanted it more when they played us than they wanted it more than when they played you.
I mean,
I don't agree with that. I think I don't agree.
I'm telling you, I watched the game. They just didn't. They were
at 44. At 44, he's a first-time champion, and he is also a man who contributed huge in the championship game. Jordan, welcome to TBI's final episode of the season. Congratulations on the win.
Turn your mic on.
Your mic is not on, Jordan.
No, it is. I said good to be here.
What's up, Kamish? Congratulations on the win. How does it feel to be a champ?
I don't know. I feel like I'm a champ every year that I get to be with this group. Honestly, that's the truth. over and above that, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for Wednesday night to celebrate. I always think, championships are about, like Logan said to us the night before. Logan, you mind if I reveal
Please go for it. Go right in.
Yeah, it's like the championship. We kind of went back and forth on this. The championship is just a thing. It's the bond that's created by the championship. That's what you go away with. I'll always remember Logan and Munch and me and Solo, and maybe I won't even remember what we won together. But like, I'll be old man and I'll be picturing those faces and I'll be like, I remember I won something awesome with those guys, and then we celebrated one night, and that's what a championship is. It's like infuses like unbreakable memory into something. Otherwise, it fades, and that's what separates it from a non-championship. Lionhearts, they're not going to remember this season. They'll remember something, maybe one Jewball season. We're going to remember this for forever, because it was that special a group.
Now, Jordan, when you're at draft night, we're going back to October. Obviously, first when TBI was born, probably one of the proudest moments we've had in Jewball history, just having a live draft and Rabin, giving up his backyard to us, and Bosch on the queue, and everybody contributing by bringing things. And honestly, it was a special evening. Laura Karan, obviously, made an appearance there. And here you are, and you're listening to who's going to be on your team, and you don't get picked until the fifth round. You don't get picked in the fifth round. Steve gets picked in the sixth round. You're thinking to yourself, all right, well, we got a really good team here. But then comes the seventh round, and the first pick in the seventh round goes to Maor. Did you ever anticipate you'd be in the championship and that guy would be the MVP?
No, I knew it could be MVP of the chat. I knew that. I didn't know everything he could do on the field. I knew he was good because he made a couple catches, but he didn't have hands like this last year. He could drop. I mean, what's the difference between not dropping a ball ever and occasionally dropping a ball? And last year he occasionally dropped balls. This year the guy was just so reliable, and kudos to Gronk, and everyone says this about him, and is that he doesn't see Maor. He sees an open receiver, and he hits him. And then it's up to the receiver to make the catch. And Maor happens to be a guy that if you put your faith in him, he will not let you down. Period.
And then we had Klink on earlier, 8th round pick.
Yeah, great interview.
And did you expect Klink would, first of all, last all season? That's number one. It's been a while since he's done such a thing. And number two, contribute the way he did all season long.
No, I didn't expect him to last, again, because of the history. This is a guy, and by the way, if Gronk's watching or watching, this is a guy who pulled himself out of a few games earlier in the season. So, it was like touch and go. Is he going to stick around? But when guys went down, like Steve-O and Goldberg, plug in Maor and Munch, and plug in Maor and Klink, they could play every set if you wanted. They would play very hard. They made some big plays all the time. And Klink, again, the time goes by so quickly. I can't even fully appreciate how much history I have with this guy. And Jewball, we've been doing this for 15 years, me and Klink. I consider him in my mind a rookie.
Right.
It's weird. Yeah. He's like a kid. No, I'm serious. I look at Klink. I remember him walking on like Ernie walks on. I remember that same vibe, and here he is, playing with me for, almost 20 years and winning a championship. Pretty special.
Jordan, 2 interceptions in the game yesterday. Davo, did you foresee Jordan having 2 picks and a pick 6 in the game?
Well, I knew he was going to get passes, and if he got passes, he was going to get catches. I just didn't necessarily know who it was going to come from. So I thought he would maybe it was going to come from Gronk, but Yaron wanted to give Jordan a little shout out also. So kudos to him for that. Jordan's great. He always comes to play. He was Violent J on Sunday, threw a ball right at Singer's face, told him to himself. He was right in front of his family. He had no qualms about anything.
By the way,
he just gets into it.
Can we clarify? It hit him in the shoulder. Let's not. It didn't hit him in the nose.
Right in the face.
It hit right here. I was right next to it. I saw it happen. It hit right here again.
His kids were crying. They're like, "Daddy, why the man throw the ball in your face?" But no, listen,
Why
Jay
didn't
had a
Jack-
great season all along, and honestly, it's probably the best season I've seen from him in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
I
for
would
sure.
say. I think the league has just revitalized him,
Ultimate,
and,
baby.
and I think Ultimate definitely plays. Guys, don't forget to sign up for the link. And but Jay, I got a question.
Yeah.
You guys had a lot of success this year in the draft. Do you think that the draft was done correctly? I know there was a big argument, snake, not snake. And do you think that another team can have that kind of success in the draft again next season, building such a great
Well,
team by having, let's say, the first overall pick?
listen, I gave Gronk the first overall pick. So because in a sense he replaced Rabin, who was the least talented of our quarterbacks.
Well, hold
So I
on a
wanted
second.
to get-
Jordan, let me cut you off.
Yeah.
Before this season started, if you lined up Fight, Prager, Yaron, and Gronk, again, prior to this season, I think
Yes.
everyone would have ranked Gronk number 4. You could argue the other order, but like everyone would have put Gronk, and that's not a knock on Gronk. We maybe didn't see him play enough, but everyone
Right.
would have put him number 4.
Correct. So
I don't
that's
agree.
what that's what I was getting at. Meaning
I don't agree with that.
I try that no, but Logan's macabre into what I was gonna say is that I gave Gronk first pick because I didn't think he was as good as the rest. And that's
Right.
why it sort of
No, but
backfired when he turned out to be the best.
No, but I think it made no difference, right? Because if let's say Rabin still would have been quarterback, Rabin would have had the first pick just based on the fact that Fight Club is the higher seed. They were the number 1 seed last year. They lost in the first round. You were the second seed. You lost in the first round. So just based on seeding and who made it to the championship, it made sense that you would have the first pick and Fight would have the second pick. And then
Yeah, so right, it would have been Rabin.
right, what about it? It
Yeah.
makes no difference about where you put Gronk. Honestly, listen, I caught 6 touchdowns last year. I think half of those came from Gronk. The other half, or 2/3 or whatever, 2/3 of them came from Gronk. Who knows? I can't remember anymore. But the point being is that Gronk has always had the skill. Nobody ever doubted his ability to be quarterback. I think what people were wondering would he be interested enough in playing quarterback all season?
No, but I think it's also can same, as the saying goes, can same play. Meaning,
Right.
is that a winnable formula? And I would have said no. I would have said the other 3 guys have arms. Gronk has an arm, but the other 3 guys are using their brains. They're telling people what to do, and that's what wins games. And same play is going to lose you games. That's what I would have said before this year. And I think every receiver who, definitely on the cronies who got to know him very well, understood that like Ivry said it earlier, what same play really means is get open.
Right.
It doesn't even mean same. And there's a reward for getting open, and that's a pass. And it's like it's a pretty cool formula. And no other quarterback's trying it, and other quarterbacks are struggling to have completions. He's not.
I think the biggest test will be for next season. Obviously, if he wants to return to quarterback, as we already see from the chat, he doesn't. But I'm sure he'll give us another GR quarterback. The big question will be: can he draft a team that's somewhat similar to what he's had, and can he make that work? Can he get that formula to work? But of course, that's projecting for next season. But
yeah,
that'll be interesting to watch.
All right, boys, you done with me?
Jordan, any farewell words before?
Hold on, wait, Jordan.
Yeah.
Before you go, I think everyone in the chat owes you a huge thank you. Not just for putting the league together, but for honestly everything you do week in and week out to make sure that we have 20, some people want 21, but 20 weeks of Jewball to make sure that honestly the things go fairly, teams are made randomly. There's a ton of hard work that goes into keeping a league alive and thriving and going, and that's all thanks to you.
And giving out gifts on Purim as well, and helping organize a Hanukkah party, and helping organize a draft night, and everything you do. Yeah, I want to second that. Any last messages for us for TBI? You're probably our biggest fan here.
Probably.
I haven't missed an episode. They've gotten extremely, extremely good. I mean, I was watching even, from the beginning of this episode, because the fact that you stuck to it, first of all, is very Jewball. Because, sometimes you're posting a video and you see like 12 views and you're like, what are we doing this for? And because that's what we do in Jewball. We just do it. We do it until it works. And, and then you got to survive the lean years. And then in 3 years, this has 300 viewers or whatever it is. The miracles happen. You stick to it. You hone your skills. You believe in it, and then the good things happen. And that's what we've been doing for 20 years. So
basically, what I heard is that in 3 years you won 8 teams in the league.
No, I don't think like that. Though. I let it happen. I don't even see. That's the thing. We just have the right intentions. We have the right motivations. We be good and we do good, and the good things have happened. They happen to us. They'll happen to TBI, and let the chips fall where they may. We've seen the blessing, so we have no reason to doubt that they will continue.
Jordan, congrats again on the championship, Kamish.
Thanks,
Great
guys.
season.
Congrats. Yeah. Thanks for making this happen.
Love you guys. Peace. Bye.
Back at you. All right. Well, there you go. The commissioner, champion himself. What an opportunity, right? To have him on in our final episode of the season. All right, guys, we got some more surprises coming up. Before we do that, Davo, I know this has been on your mind for a long time. You may get cut off with our next guest, but start us off. What's going to happen next season?
Yeah, Roan will cheat to get to the championship. That is guaranteed. I think we know that already. Next season, we have a lot of great stuff coming up. First, we have the combine in the off season.
Calendar? Calendar?
Oh, well, the calendar is coming up, but the combine is an actual event, which I think will be really great for a lot of people. It'll definitely boost some people's draft stock. It'll be a great chance for the captains / quarterbacks to get a chance to see people, to get to play people maybe they haven't really played with. Like I know Gronk didn't play with Singer this year or something like that. Prime never played with Fight. So maybe it'll get them a little chance, which might give us a little bit.
You should definitely let Fight play with Solo. Absolutely, let Fight play with Solo.
I think we should introduce them. I mean, I know they only met on the field a couple times, but we should definitely introduce them in person. We're gonna have a draft coming up again. Hopefully, we can get some more sponsors because this season was pretty great. And then we're gonna have 4, 5, 6 teams, hopefully, something like that. And we're all gonna play, and hopefully PJs will be there as well because he's very distracted. Okay. And no, I mean, I think this season was a huge success, and coming off of the first league season, that was a lot because we all thought that was great. I don't know. I have to speak to someone off chat to maybe reschedule the leagues not to end when everyone's dead and broken. Maybe try to end them earlier. That's just a Davo thought. I'm on the fence about it, so I'm not exactly sure. But I think so. I think it's going to be great. And MK will not go in the second round, Yaron. Stop it. Stop it.
You know what? I think there's so much talent now that I, when I made that mock 6-team draft, I was having fun with it, but at the same time, I was like, listen, legitimately, there were a lot of people who I think, moved up their status, right? I don't think there's anybody I look at and say, well, he didn't earn his spot. I think there's one or two guys who I think like I think are still top picks, just maybe not round 1 and round 2, maybe like for a guy like, maybe he's round 3 and Cook's maybe around 2. I don't think anybody lost. And then the rookies obviously being thrown in, they're mid-round draft picks, but they each bring something to the table. There's so much talent now. And then if you're right, if guys like Mo come back and Josh Friedman play, you're potentially adding a lot more talent to the pool. Sting will come back. The idea of having 6 teams just makes so much sense to me. But again, as you saw, Red Sun.
That's only if you can get 6 quarterbacks.
Right, you need 6 quarterbacks, but also you need 8 players for each team. So you need 48 consistent players because, as we saw Red Sunday, guys are getting hurt. Guys can't show up for whatever reason. Briss, weekend getaways, whatever it is. People need to get away for their family, stuff. It's hard, but I think if you go 6 teams, I think the league changes.
I think you also worry about the league taking up too many, quote unquote, of the 20 Jewball weeks.
Is that really? Is that really?
It would still be the same.
Is that really a problem though? When you think about it, is that really a bad thing? Because
yeah, we're gonna end up turning into a league. We're not a league.
No, I agree. But if you get if still 14 out of your 20 weeks are non-league weeks, is that really such a bad thing that you have? Those 6 leagues.
No, but you can't play 6, and if you have 6 teams, then you have to play everyone twice. That's a lot of weeks.
Dave, how do you solve it? Dave, how do you solve it?
No, we're not doing 2 fields. You don't have to play everyone twice. You'll play everyone once and a quarter.
You have 5 games. You have 5 games.
No, you have 6 games. So you play everyone once and a half.
Logan, what you do is you split.
You play 2 teams twice.
You split Hewlett
or one team twice.
You split Hewlett for the second game when the old guys leave, and you have.
Oh, you mean you have 3 games every Jewball week or every league week? That's interesting. I'm not opposed to it. It's interesting.
That would be the most.
By the way, you could also just make the games an hour, 8 to 9.
No, stop
9,
it,
10 to...
guys. Even an hour and a half is like we want at least an hour and a half.
Hour and a half is what you need, and not more, not less. I think more,
well, obviously you can do more, but
no, of course you want more, but then of course you run the risk of guys getting hurt.
Sometimes you get the game you need, not the game you want.
No, you think big, you start small. You start small, 6 league weeks. If the old guys leave when they're supposed to leave, and you split the field, that's how you do it.
Dave wants the old guys to be one of the teams in the 6.
Right?
No, I don't want any murders on my hands. No, I'm not responsible.
That's fair. We didn't really get to talk about the game much. Not that we have to rub it in anymore, but it was a hell of a game. The one thing I will say is, and you sometimes see this, and I think when I think back to when the Yankees lost to the Marlins in the World Series, the series before they went Boston 7 games, and I believe that was the Aaron Boone home run to win it in extra innings.
Logan, I got to cut you off.
Do it.
I got, guys, this is big stuff. This is big stuff.
Is it Zeta?
It's not Zeta. It's not your own. It's not Singer. It is the championship captain, quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback as well. It's Gronk. Davo, here's Gronk. There you go.
I gotta go, I think, right?
The last place I'd rather be. Nowhere else.
So just like Jewball Field, there you go.
I'm gonna leave so Gronk.
So bored from yesterday.
It's so good. What's going on, man?
How's everyone doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing great.
Yeah, I mean, the last week and a half, Gronk, has been incredible for you. Baby girl and the championship. What could get better?
Not being
the show being the last episode, probably.
Right, Gronk's hoping this isn't the season finale, but rather
series
finale.
Exactly.
Gronk wants to bring down viewership, not up viewership.
Gronk, for someone who hates the show so much, I'm pretty sure you've seen every episode.
Yes. I need something to do in the shower. I need some noise,
See? He does watch. We knew it.
Okay, in fairness, it's because I send him a check every week to watch. It's one of those, and then of course he trashes me right after.
PJ, what you pay Gronk to do in the shower should not be on this show. Let's just leave it at that, okay? We don't need to get into that.
Just
Gronk, let's start at the beginning. Walk us through draft night. So you pick Munch first. That's obviously no brainer. I'm not going to say that your other picks weren't no brainers, but literally what went through your mind after 4 picks go through and Solo is still sitting on the board?
What is wrong with everyone else? That was the first thing that went through my mind. You have to draft a line in this league. That's the best way to win. And that's what was available. So that's what I had to do.
By the way, it's so funny. You told me before the draft, you're like, I'm drafting a line. And that's legitimately what you did. Round 1, round 2 line. I think Goldberg technically is line also, right? So there you go, round 3 as well. Was there any doubt in your mind you were taking Goldberg third? Did he know you were taking him?
Yeah, once he was available, I told him there's no one else I'm taking besides for you.
Now, Logan, 4th round. I think not that we were surprised that Logan went 4th round. Logan.
I thought it was a stretch. I thought it was a stretch.
Logan's good enough to go 1st, 2nd, or whatever. But
Stop.
when Logan's sitting there, did you know like what you were drafting on Logan? Did you realize, or was one of those like?
I thought he was going to be somebody who didn't show up weekly, so we would have some more playing time. But turns out that he only missed a few games this year. But obviously, no better player I want on the field than Logan. Keep the energy high.
Keep the energy high and prevent you from getting tackled.
Exactly.
Who's got better excuses, Logan or Veg, for missing Jewball?
Sterling can miss every week, and he would still have better excuses.
All right,
that's one aspect of my game I do have to elevate for next year. Those excuses, they're not great. They're not great.
5th round, Jordan sitting there. What are you thinking?
How could the commission of the league not be taken?
I was thinking the same exact thing. I thought when we said, and when Dave and I both looked at each other when MK was picked, we were both like, that's a reach, not because we don't like MK, because I was thinking to myself, like, why isn't Jordan getting drafted? That didn't make any sense at all.
See, when I heard that Gronk picked Jordan, I assumed it was because he knew he was going to have to move some games, and who better to help him move the games than the commissioner? That was my thoughts. Nothing.
I think he's pulling a Davo.
Gronk has pulled the classic.
I have to pull a Davo.
That's real good. That's real good.
Awesome. All right, 6th round. Steve-O sitting there.
This
is awesome. All right, 6th round. Steve-O sitting there.
I actually thought that he was the better of those. I didn't really know the difference.
Of all 3 of us, actually.
Yeah, whatever.
7th round. MVP of the championship game, Maor. We've been talking about it all show. What did you know, or how did you know he'd be that good?
I didn't really know how good he would be, but I knew from the options remaining that he would be the best option remaining.
By the way, I'm shocked that he didn't take you, PJs. Literally, I thought that for sure it was going to be you.
You know what? To be honest with you, I thought he would avoid having me on his team because it's a little bit much for Gronk to have a guy constantly looking at him, staring at him, and kind of begging him for the ball. I understand that. Totally understandable. I was just surprised that Yaron and Fight had an option to take me and didn't. But I was happy to play with Prey. I had no problem.
I was trying to draft the worst team possible, so that's why I didn't take you.
And don't get me wrong. I was happy. I was happy to where I landed. I was happy on Bop. Maybe not the first half of the season, but the second half of the season, I was happier.
On the sideline?
Yeah, basically. Then the 8th round, maybe not a surprise to those who've been around in Jewball for a long time, but who told you to take Klink, or did you just have a feeling?
I don't recall who the remaining players were, but I knew from the remaining 4 players, I had to take him. As annoying as he is, and as much as he talks on the field, and I never know what he's talking about, he was still the best option remaining.
By the way, I believe the last 4 picks were Klink, Effie, Sam, and Eddie. So,
yeah, no comment.
Okay, Greg, I want to ask you one question, and then I'm not going to talk again. Walk me through one play that you had. Klink calls for the ball, stops, you throw it to him, and then he runs and misses it. And you just start screaming at him. Walk us what actually happened. Was there miscommunication? Wait, did you just decide to throw it to him for the first time?
There was 2 people doing cross routes. They both stopped in the same place. And the ball was to Klink. The ball is literally 2 feet in front of him. Next thing I know, he's turning up the field. But I'm not really sure what was going on there. So I had to, show that I was into the game a little bit. So I had to start yelling.
Honestly, as a receiver, there's nothing better than hearing the quarterback get pissed at another receiver for not running his route after not being given a route. It's unbelievable.
He didn't run the route until after the ball was already next to him.
Oh God.
Ron, where do you see Jewball? This is what, your fifth full season, right?
I don't know. You tell me. I have no idea.
Where do you see Jewball going? The guy-
He's been a vet for 6 years already.
He's the anti-MK.
right. Where do you see Jewball going?
Hopefully back to the way it was, without stats, without leagues, without all this, just a fun pickup game. People not crying about grabbing flags, flag guarding, holdings, passing interference. It really ruins the game when there's arguments for half the time. People making, he threw it past the line. He's an inch back. He's an inch forward. It really, really ruins the game. And that's the way I see it. And that's the way it should be. So I know when your own takes over, hopefully that's what it will be.
I quite frankly, I enjoy nothing more than arguing over 3 inches of line placement. That honestly
who's
is
the
my
best
favorite.
at it? Sam is the best at it. He's very, very good. Him and Beast should just argue about the line all game.
Oh, that'd be so good. Literally, like that little foot, where they just inch it with their foot, just push it slightly. It really makes a difference.
Reports are next season you're going to draft Mighty. Any truth to that?
If he's available in the last round, then yes. But yeah, I happen to enjoy playing with Mighty. We do well together sometimes, and he's a great guy, and I would love for him to be on my team. So we'll see.
I walk us through yesterday. Logan kind of gave us a little bit of the backstory. You show up a minute before the game starts. You throw a pick on the initial drive. You guys had the ball. In your mind, you're thinking, I got this. Right?
Yeah. So Saturday night, I asked Prager to bring his ball, and he told me that he was going to be late. So the first drive of the game, I was using a ball that was very slippery. I had Jordan wide open he beat Zeta or Zada, whatever the hell you pronounce his name. And I just underthrew it like crazy. The ball slipped out of my hands. But once that happened, I was already bored, so I knew the game was already over.
Who's the one player you wish you could have played with this season that you could have had on your team? Besides for me.
It's a very good question. I would like to be on your own team, so that way I could play receiver. That would be nice. Singer, always fun to play with. Mighty, always fun to play with.
No shock
all
there.
The cronies, Vegs, Tabak, Goldberg.
Well, you got Tabak at the championship, so that's what counts.
Yeah, so that's why I had to get him a touchdown.
We told him he couldn't join without a pick and a touchdown. He got it.
I feel like Tabak is one of the most underrated players.
We say that about everybody.
No, I know, but I feel like he's a guy who got drafted with 5th round, right? I was watching him all season long with fifth round. 6th round? Veg was 5th round. Tabak was 6th round. I just feel like a guy like Tabak is just constantly improving his game, and I think probably had one of his better seasons.
He had a handful of great flag grab, legitimate flag grab snatches in the championship game. He's a good player.
Yeah, if he was on the right team, he would have showed out more.
When utilized correctly.
Were the OG cronies upset you didn't draft them all? Obviously you got Goldberg, but were Tabak and Veg complaining all season long? Why didn't you draft me?
Considering at the draft, every time it was before, when Fight was picking, please don't draft me. Please don't draft me. Yeah, I think they were very angry.
At least they had each other, right?
I would have felt bad, honestly, if one of them was by themselves. I also tried trading for them at the trade deadline, but Fight wasn't having any of it.
That's interesting. There were some potential moves at the trade deadline, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I offered Munch because he got hurt the day before, like a broken hand or leg, whatever it was. So I tried very, very hard to get rid of him, but thankfully Prager turned that down.
There were 4 trades you had offered, and all 4 were turned down.
Yeah, it was for the better of the league, I guess.
Well, I think it was
you wouldn't be bored.
Better for your team, though. Think about it. I mean,
it worked out well.
It worked out well for you. I think if you made those trades, you would have regretted it.
I probably would have had more fun, people coming after me and whatever, but whatever. It is what it is.
All right, Gronk, we want to keep you any further. You got Doma coming up Wednesday night. You got a new baby at home. You got a lot of stuff going on. Congratulations from all of us to you on a well-deserved championship run and championship win.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
All
Be
right.
good, Gronk.
That is Gronk.
Congrats.
Thank you for joining. Well, guys, that's history. Final episode of the season, and we got the guy who's probably the least likely person to be on TBI to join TBI. He did make a promise to me, and see how much he loves me, is that if he won the championship, he'd be on. We were hoping to make it a little more special with a crony takeover, but having Logan is a crony enough, right?
Yeah, I would say one crony is more than enough.
Well, speaking of cronies, we do have another crony coming on in a couple minutes. We'll keep that. A
I
surprise.
think we've had every crony on except for Goldberg.
Yeah, but nobody wants Goldberg on.
Damn.
You know you're
Brock
lucky
is-
he doesn't. You know you're lucky he doesn't watch the show.
That's why I said it. That's why I said it. No, you know.
Everybody's underrated except for Goldberg, apparently.
I know, right? We have to stop this underrated thing. We say everyone is underrated. No, we all think everyone's great.
All right,
Let's
well-
stop it.
Well, speaking of underrated or called underrated, he's no longer underrated at all. He's honestly somebody who everyone needs to pay attention to going forward because he was and is the most active chatter against Singer. It's the MVP of the championship. It's none other than Maor. Maor, welcome back to TBI.
What's going on, guys? How are you?
You tell us, how are you? 2 big touchdowns in the game, and they awarded the MVP. You
PJ.
take down.
PJ, sorry, I'm gonna cut you off.
I gotta say
Yeah.
there's some protest. I love Singer too much. I can't be here right now. My feelings are hurt. You hurt my man. You know, that's my number one. I gotta leave. I can't be here. I'm sorry.
No,
This is not a safe place for me anymore.
It's
It's not a safe
identify
place
as
for
a
me.
singer. You identify as a singer.
I do. More. Peace.
Oh man,
That's not you, by the way. That's not on you, Moore. That's definitely not on you. What's going on, brother? Good to have you on, man.
What's
Sorry,
up, Jay?
PJs, go back into it. Go back into it. Sorry.
Championship MVP. Let's talk about it. How did that feel?
feels amazing. After Singer got got voted that he was MVP, I got phone calls from all the boys back in high school. They're like, "You really, this guy's legit MVP of this league?" I'm like, "All right, guys, I'll put him in his place. Put him in his place. Let it be. All right." I'm like, "That's it. Game over." That's it. We went out there,
Wait a minute, or I'm sorry to cut you off. Goldberg, I would love to have you on TBI. If you're available, private message me. We'd love to have you on right after Maor. Just saying. That was a joke. I didn't think you listened to the show, but appreciate the love that you listen. Of course, you listened for Jason. You didn't listen for us, but Maor, right back at it. Sorry about that.
No worries. No worries.
All right.
So wait, so you had to put Singer in his place. We're thrilled that you did. You
Yeah,
went.
way too many votes for MVP. Way too much. What's going on? Maybe people drank or something. I don't know, but way too many votes for that guy.
More, I do have to say, you are excellent at your craft. And I don't just mean the Singer bashing in the chat. I also mean at catching touchdowns. Like, let's go through, like, just to be frank, the Lionhearts are up 1-0. We're on like the 2 or the 3 yard line. It's 4th down. And you have Beast draped all over you. This is not a knock on Beast. This is a huge more moment. Walk us through that play. Like, if you even remember it, like, walk us through, because I know watching it was unbelievable. I want to know what it felt like for you.
Well, it felt awesome. Beast was actually defending very well on the play. I saw Gronk roll to the right, and I saw everyone go with him. I think Singer on that play was playing shading towards the middle, and he followed Gronk. So I took one step in, and then I took one step back the other way. And I knew that if Gronk would see me, if I could get that initial step, I could try to bring it down. Beast played great coverage. He was still with me. Even after the step and everything, he played phenomenal coverage.
Unbelievable play. Unbelievable. I see 2 hands on it, and I didn't even have to see the rest of the play. As soon as you got 2 hands on it, I knew you were coming down with it. I knew it was gonna be 1-1. It was a huge moment in the game very early on. Unbelievable to watch. The second touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, I think Yaron was on you, but like it was pretty much the same, right? It was pretty similar play.
Similar type play. I was watching mainly the middle linebacker on their team and where he'd go. If he would step towards me, I would run across, and if he would go with the traffic, I would run the other way, and I would try to be a leak out option. Yaron also played phenomenal coverage on that play as well. They didn't bite on the fake; they were there. Gronk just made a good throw, and gave me an opportunity.
More thinking about this right now, right? You become like the king of the chat with the trash talking of Singer. This is like Singer's worst case scenario, nightmare scenario, right? Because now, listen, don't get me wrong. Singer matched you. He had 2 touchdowns himself, but you bested him in the game. Like your team bested his team, and you're the MVP. He's not.
I'm showing that to all my friends. You're the MVP. He's not. That clip I'm taking. I'm taking for life.
And that's got to hurt him, right? Like, does that make you feel like all the trash talking was worth it all season?
Trash talking him is, one of the funnest things ever. He takes it personally because he loves the game. He had good routes yesterday. I think those timing routes with Yaron, if they played a little more together, that would be a very lethal combo. Yaron, I think, is a phenomenal quarterback. No matter what people say, I think he's very good at what he does. Very good at the timing routes. He gets the ball out quick. He's very accurate. Yesterday was maybe a little bit of an off day, but it's hard to have a good day when you have Munch and Solo in your face all day. Those guys are beasts over there.
All right, 7th round pick to championship MVP. Let me ask you a question. Does draft ranking really matter?
Initially I thought yes, but I would say no now. Nothing to do with me. I think that there are very special guys that were taken at the bottom half of the draft. Klink is a very special player. Just guys that want to come in. I think you're a very good player.
You're talking about you, Logan.
Yeah, I know he was. But by the way,
Logan is considered higher draft. I
still think 4 was a stretch. But if you think about, who was picked right before the end of the 6th round? Who was picked right before Maor? Tom, another guy who just absolutely had a phenomenal season. That just goes to further Maor's point. Like draft positioning doesn't really matter that much.
Well, that was kind of the point of the question, right? Like you think about all the talent around, like, and a guy like Big E Walls, who had, I think, a tremendous season. He gets taken in the 7th round as well. And Rabin showing off his ability to be a receiver. He had a bunch of touchdowns this season. Again, to me, I think where you get drafted is not an insult. I think it's what you do on the field is the best compliment you can get. And more, I think we've been saying it all year. In the biggest moments, you were there. The pick in the first game against the Lionhearts, that pick at the end, we kind of sealed the game for the team. I don't think you had what did you have? 4 or 5 touchdowns for the season. It's not like you were burning people, but it seemed like every touchdown was a big moment, especially against us in that final game of the season to solidify the number 1 seed. Like you had 2 touchdowns in that game as well. I mean, you become that reliable go-to big game receiver, and no metric, no stat is ever going to measure that.
TJ's another thing I'll add in there, and it's something we don't keep track. Obviously, it's too much of a headache, but I wish you could go back and look at how many very important first downs we went to Maor for over the course of the season. We don't track first downs, but there's at least 3 different times in 3 different games where it was either 3rd and we needed to keep the drive alive, or even 4th and we needed to keep the drive alive. And Maor turned around and gave us that first down that we needed. Those are the things that you are able to contribute that don't necessarily make it on the stat sheet, but that really differentiate players. And that's where Maor came in huge this season for us. Not necessarily with the touchdowns per se. Championship game, obviously 2 were huge, but there were other plays that don't show up on the stat sheet that the cronies themselves know the contribution that Maor gave to the game.
Yeah, I think the cronies all around, it's very easy to benefit. I mean, we have such a good team. We start at the line. The line is just phenomenal. It takes a lot of pressure off if you're playing corner or linebacker. I think Logan and Jay are very fast on the outside. Gronk's always doing his thing. I think the best part about him is that he gives everyone an opportunity. And I don't mean by sharing the ball. I mean, if you're open, he'll throw the ball to you. And I think that's a dangerous thing, a dangerous skill to have in this type of league. Not to say that your own plays are not the wrong thing, but those take a little, in my opinion, a little more time. You need a little more practice or a little more time to gel for those things to work. But I think Gronk uses that to our team's advantage, and I think it played out very well.
Or the last time we had you on, we cut you off. We wanted to give you an opportunity to say something nice about Singer. So here's your opportunity. Go say something nice about Singer.
I'm telling you, this man is excellent at his craft. The man is excellent at what he does.
More, love you, man.
No worries. I mean, I just had so much to say about him, but now it slipped my mind. I'll get it back.
Hi, More. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations again on the championship MVP. That's not an easy, that's not an easy feat to get, right?
I just want to say one thing. I think the way you played in the round before was amazing. I saw you get knocked down. I saw you keep getting up multiple times. I think you have the heart of a champion, and it's amazing what you do. Props to you.
It means a lot, from hearing that from you as a champion. It means a lot, and I think a guy like me just has to follow your lead, and that's it. Just keep plugging away and be the best player you can be. Right?
We'll start crapping on Singer with me.
It's hard. It's hard to join that team, but I'll root for both of you. I'll put it that way.
Awesome, guys. You guys are awesome.
Peace out, More.
Hey,
thank you so much. All right, Logan. We finally got Davo off the show.
Not easy.
Seriously, we finally got the fence removed. There's so much to recap of the season. Jordan's going to do his recap, obviously. We do have another surprise guest, by the way, coming on very soon, but a representative from the Lionhearts, just, as a teaser. But there's so much to look back on the season. For me personally, I think the games were great. Obviously there were blowouts and there were teams where the generator didn't work, but just the activities that went on in Jewball, the parties, the get-togethers, the camaraderie, this show, right? Like Jordan said, this show lasting and doing what it did, getting you to join us, right? Halfway through the season was a huge deal. It's so hard to put it all in words. And I think that's why Jordan, he is so great at that craft in terms of making a recap and summing everything up. But just seeing week in and week out what the season we had and the way that the championship went, we said it on draft night, your team would be extremely hard to beat. That's not because we're great at predicting things. That's just because it's obvious. The team that won the championship was the best team on paper, and that doesn't happen in every sports league, right? Every sports league doesn't get that. The two best teams played each other. The two best regular season teams played each other in the championship. It was honestly just the league season and just a way of recapping the season was incredible. But I will say one thing. I said this in our previous show on on the award show. I said it. There's no TBI without Davo. Davo it's his brainchild. There's no draft night without Davo as well. And he was the one pushing Yaron and Jordan to do it. And a big shout out to Yaron, to Jordan. Big shout out to Rabin for hosting, to Bosch for barbecuing. Bosch is one of those guys who, retired, but not by choice, right? And I think just keeping himself relevant in Jewball, as little he shows up, but when he does, it means a lot. Where do we go from here next year? I know we kind of talked about that before, but how do we up this season?
Look, I mean, quite frankly, I think the beauty of this season, and I think, beauty of other seasons, but like the beauty is that like we aren't trying to outdo previous seasons, right? Like the goal is never to outdo. The goal is just to have a great week. And if you put together a handful of really great weeks, well, then you have this golden season that we had. And obviously a lot more golden for me because Cronies won. But like, quite frankly, I think in the middle of the season, people were arguing that teams weren't fair. or that, the randomizer was broken. I don't know if people mid-season would have said this was a fabulous season. But when you look back and think about what this season was, we don't remember any of the bad stuff. What we remember is all of the good stuff, right? Like, and even if you think about like Red Sunday, obviously a Sunday I wasn't part of, but like Red Sunday, right? A ton of injuries, but people kind of remember the fact that we played for like 3.5 hours and every team wanted to win, right? Like there was this big drive where guys just didn't want to give up. You don't think about the games that were 7-0. You think about, holy crap, like 30 of us got together on Hanukkah with our wives and like got to hang out with each other and have drinks outside of Jewball, right? Like you don't think about, oh crap, draft night didn't go the way we planned. No, you think about the fact that like we had so many great things that happened this season. That's what made it great. So again, where do we go next season? I think we focus on each season, right? We focus on next season. We focus on the games. We focus on people being able to stay healthy. That includes off-season regimen. That means, people playing, committing, and continuing and bringing down new talent. I think if we just keep to those things, next season is going to be great, regardless of whether it's 4 teams in the league, whether it's 6 teams in the league, or whether there is no league. I think either way, Jewball's in a great place. It's trending upward, and I think if we just keep doing what we're doing, it's going to be a great year next year.
I also want to take this time to apologize. Really, I don't think we said anything that was, we did say some things.
What's this whole we business?
All right. Well, Davo and I, pre-Logan days, we made some, interesting comments. I think the first one goes to there's nothing wrong with Prey, right? I think that was a segment early on. Prey had not the statistics he had the season before. There's clearly nothing wrong with Prey. Prey is, anyone would be lucky to play with Prey. There's no nicer person in Jewball. There's no better teammate. There's no one who puts his body on the line every single play. You talk about the crony motor. I don't know if anyone's motor, well, outside of maybe Munch and Solo, is as strong as Prey's. I mean, Prey is every type of player you'd want. The guy, yeah, he really is. And so there's obviously nothing wrong with Prey. It was such an honor to play another season with Prey. That's the type of quarterback you want to play with. I also want to apologize to Fight. I think, listen, we were right to question his draft moves because the way things played out, but at the end of the day, he did what he thought was best. He didn't draft bad players. He drafted guys. He drafted good players, just not where they probably should have gone in the draft.
He had the right strategy, right? Like drafting linemen is the right move. We obviously it worked out for Gronk. You see, like, so his strategy was right. It was spot on. I think, just potentially the execution, but he had the right way of thinking. And also he probably suffered a little bit from just not being, like you said, not being as familiar with everyone or the pool of players that he had options for.
And I also think, he had some infighting with his team. I think some that got went overboard on the chat. And I think, it's tough. I'm actually really happy that trades didn't happen. I think the fact the team stayed the way they were, but I do think there should be trades next season. I mean, not that it's an insult to anybody to be traded. I think it's an interesting thing to see, if the trade would work, if trades do work. Just an interesting, cool thing to see. Is this our final episode? We have, we'll go for a little bit longer, Logan, and then we'll cut it off. But we do have a guest coming in to TBI. He's been on before, and I'm not sure how he's feeling right now. We'll give him a second to join us. But I do want to throw out another apology. And that's to anyone who ever got questioned at all during the season. And apologies to them. But here is Zeta. No, it's Zada. It's Zada. I know. Zada, how you doing?
Oh, man. Dave was not on. I had a lot of comments while he was on. A lot of things against him.
By the way, for the record, don't think we didn't see you blowing up in the chat.
Oh, my God.
Like you're like a caged animal.
Oh my God. It's more amusing to see. It's a lot of fun, but I'm like, Dave, everything he said was just false. I've never seen, like, sometimes like you guys like thing with like what's wrong with Prey is like pretty bad, but Dable's analysis there, and this is what I said in the chat, Dable's analysis there was so bad that Klink's discussion about retention was so much better. Okay, it was the worst analysis I've ever heard in my life. So I'll say my spiel, but to say that Yaron should have thrown screens all game, that's total BS and that's ridiculously stupid because the whole defense was playing up. We threw that ball. They knew the screen was coming. There's nothing we could have done. And yeah, we're going to get 2 blocks when Munch and Solo are tracking that person down. Number 2 is that this is a crazy shout out to Beast and Dobbs. I don't think anyone understood how much pain both of them were in while they were playing. Beast couldn't lift up his arm.
Yeah.
He legit was in a ton of pain. So for anyone to say that Beast, like let's say on Maor, like I respected him for even playing. Maybe he should have sit out. Maybe he shouldn't have. He had no idea that how much pain he was going to be in, and he still pushed through. I'm sure if we had like, I don't know, like if someone was able to come and replace him, he would have. Like the first set of downs, I came and played tight end. So now think about it this way in terms of Yaron's weapons yesterday. Dobbs on a bum knee, Beast with a left arm that he can't raise, and then you got Ivry and Singer. Okay? So don't throw Yaron under the bus for him having a bad game plan. Don't do that. That's all I have to say. You can't throw him under the bus because he had a good game plan and he throws that ball like he is the quarterback to beat the cronies. And if he had the healthy receiver set that he could have, I guess, right? Jack was out also. It would have been a little different. And I'm not trying to take the win away from the cronies because you guys were awesome. Solo Munch, honestly, Logan, I want to know what it's like to play on defense when you have them on the line. I feel like it just makes life so much easier.
Have you ever eaten like a hot fudge sundae?
Oh,
That's exactly what it's like to play defense behind those two guys. It's like literally just sitting back and enjoying yourself.
Like, I think all I know is that I don't even know what happened on offense. The only thing I actually like remember is just Bunch running right at me the entire game. It is
dude. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that one play where you bailed out on Solo? Can we just talk about that for a second?
But what do you mean?
When Solo was running at you to block. It was
literally my God. You guys, oh my God. Okay, this is the funniest thing in the world.
For the record, I don't blame you at all. At all.
Wait. You're misinterpreting what happened.
I thought you literally dove out of the way.
No, you misinterpreted what happened. Okay, you totally missed it. It was actually
Logan, you missed listening.
It. No, he did. I think I know which play he's talking about. There was one play where Gronk was rolling out to run, right? And Solo was lead block. I didn't dive out of the way. I evaded him. And so I literally, he was coming straight at me. He was like 2 hands about to plow me over, with this intensity. And all I did is I dipped my shoulder around him and I tried to get to Gronk. I missed Gronk. I didn't get to him, but I dipped my shoulder and he missed the block. Next thing I know, I turn around and I see Solo out of bounds on the floor. And I looked at him like, dude, what happened? He's like, I was going to plow you over and I just missed you.
Oh, I thought you dove out of the way from him.
No.
Oh my God.
I just moved out of the way and he totally missed me. At least that's what I think happened. I think that's why I looked at him and he was like, yeah, I was going to plow you over and I just missed you. And he was like, I hope that was on video. That was hilarious. So that's what happened. That was
so funny.
Really
I totally misinterpreted that. I guess I saw that the aftermath, not the lead up. But
nah, man.
Seeing that guy run at people, there was one Gronk's touchdown. So I was rolling, I guess, from Gronk's right to left across the field, and he was rolling that same direction, and he kind of gave me a look and I thought that meant he was going to throw it to me. At which point, out of the corner of my eye, I see Solo running right past me. And that's the moment I realized that A, I never want to be in front of Solo running at someone, and B, that Gronk wanted to run the ball, not throw it to me. I was at that point, I just tried to find someone to hit, but seeing Solo with the locomotive coming through, I was like, okay, I never want to be on the bad end of that because that is going to be a bad day.
If you're a runner, like a running back, or if you get a screen, you just follow your blocks. I play with Solo once or twice. That man is a truck, and he will set blocks. And it's not just I guess for like smaller receivers, your job is to take out one guy. Solo, like Munch and Singer, like those, they take out like 2 or 3 guys on a screen. They plow one guy over and go to the next. It is a thing of beauty, and it is so easy. Like, and like, I think the guy who gets the screen gets the credit for, like, let's say getting the touchdown. Like, no, like Solo literally like plowed the guy over for you. It was, they're awesome. They really are awesome. But anyways, the reason why I was on was to say that Yaron is not trash. Okay, Yaron was not trash. He played the best he could with the weapons he had. I don't think that he did not play well. I think he played well. I think the Lionhearts, with the Dabo's point, he says that we didn't want it. That's such BS, man. Like, we wanted that game bad. We played to the best of our ability. We did lose, so kudos to the cronies. You guys played great. But the Lionhearts definitely wanted it.
By the way, for the record, we did back you. We did back you guys up there. We didn't, we did challenge Dave on that and saying that that's not fair to say they didn't want it. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
To say they wanted it more against us versus that doesn't make any sense. Of course, you want to win the championship.
Although I do think there is something about having that emotional energy spent in the playoff game as opposed to in the championship game. Like, I do think that there was like a ton of emotion that was used up like 2 weeks ago in that game, and there may have been just something about like peaking there and then having to play another game was mentally hard.
I don't agree. Not 2 weeks later. Listen, I think last year when Bop won, beating the Rabin club, right? Beating Rabin in that game.
Brutal. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, I know, but I think the fact that we won that game, we went into the championship with with that emotional high of winning. We felt like we were going to win that game, and then Dobbs had probably one of the greatest games of his career, just dominating.
Didn't Veg also have a great game?
Veg also, Veg was MVP. So it's interesting. Again, I agree. If a healthy Dobbs and a healthy Beast, does the score change? I think it does. You have a healthy Jack, the score changes, but
I'm not there to play that game. That's not what I'm trying to say whatsoever.
No, I know,
it wasn't that. It's just, my point was for people to say that it was Yaron that didn't play well. I just think that's totally false. That was my point. It's not about
as someone who played. I messaged Yaron after the game. Again, not a knock on the line. This is not a knock on the players. I just think Yaron played the best he could have, and there was no winning that game with the guys he was 100%. Going up against.
And to be clear about, like, going against Munch and Solo, to say the other line didn't do well, I don't think it's a knock on the other line. I think it's just the fact that Munch and Solo are so dominant. It's like me having a one-on-one against, like, I'll give you, like, me having a one-on-one against like Michael Jordan, and I lost 11-0. Yeah, Zada played terrible. No, it's just I went against a guy that is so much better than I am at that position, right? And right. Oh, yeah. You need to cut me off. Okay,
no, I'm only cutting you off. I want to ask you one question before we end.
Okay.
You are the last guest of TBI for the season, so
we went A to Z.
Yeah, we did. I wanted to ask you a really important question here. You ready? What would you like to see next year in Jewball?
More stats, more league games, and anything against what Gronk said.
All right. By the way, it'd be really funny if Gronk drafts Zada next year. That'd be great.
That'd be unbelievable. By the way, Zada, I appreciate you wearing Cronies maroon for this call. It was really
Cronies are awesome, man.
Really, really sweet of you to concede the colors tonight. Appreciate it.
By the way, have you spoken to the singer? Is he okay after that Maor interview?
Maor is a freaking artist. Like, the thing is that there's two, like, Steve-O has his like artistry around like him and his like stickers. Gronk is the best freaking troller on planet Earth. He is so good. Listening to like the way he was talking was like, there's so many hidden things in there, like hidden gems. Like, yeah, the league's going to change like next year when Yaron takes over and it's going to be better, which was so amazing. And then so Gronk and then Maor, oh my God, the man can do anything to trash Singer.
Unbelievable.
And the most amazing thing is that he has MVP was just like over the top.
Right. By the way, that's the thing. Like, he starts off in the chat. Like, the first thing he does is like throws out like a singer is trash. Here's me playing. Like, we don't even know who this kid is.
I know. It's true.
And then on Championship Sunday, he goes out and wins the MVP against Singer. Like, who would have thought that was the narrative that was going to happen when he first joined the chat like a year and a half ago?
And by the way, and his
So
best games have all been against Singer. Like, he
Unreal.
elevates his play against that guy.
It's crazy.
Oh man, it's he's always. It's not like he ever breaks character.
No.
This is not character. This is not acting. This is who he is. A man who despises and hates Singer.
Yeah.
Sada, good luck next season. Peace out, brother.
You're good, brother.
Later, guys.
All right, Logan. We're going to start winding down here, but let's just think about next year. Obviously, we're not going to project anything.
PJ, wait, let me interrupt you. This is stupid. A big shout out to PJ. Like, I don't think people watching right now realize what goes into it. And obviously, live show, there isn't that much editing, but like, as you guys could tell, Davo and I are not easy to work with. And PJ's does a ton of behind the scenes type of editing, whether it's literally editing videos, figuring out what we're going to talk about, keeping us on topic. Like, the list goes on, and whether you like TBI or not, people watch it, and it's really all because of the stuff that PJ does. And I know Davo's not here to be able to thank you as well, but this show is nothing without you, as it is without, nothing without Davo. But a huge shout out to PJ, to everything he does, not just for TBI, but for Jewball as well. PJ, you are amazing. The game will be worse if you're not back next year. I hope you are. I hope you're healthy. But first and foremost, a big, big thank you for everything you do this year, previous years, and hopefully in future years.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think TBI was so much better when you joined. And to be honest, it was a message you sent me back in November where you said, hey, if you guys ever want to go to a 3-man team, I'd be up for it. And I was like, yes, that'd be awesome. And it was one of the things where Davo and I had just started. I think it was our first episode. I think it might have just been draft night. You were like, hey, if you want a 3-man team, 3-man team, let me know. And I was like, that'd actually be really cool. But let me see how things work with Davo and I, because we didn't know whether we'd make it past 1 week or 2 weeks. And then we tried inviting you on, I think, for the second episode. And it just didn't work out. And then finally,
timing was no good. Yeah.
And then finally, when you came on, I was like, I really hope Davo gets the same vibe I got. And the vibe was, we need you on every week. And the fact that you made yourself available, like, listen, you work just like we all work. But then on top of that, you're a volunteer fireman. Let's
not do this. Let's not do this.
No, but it's true. It's true. How many times have you made yourself available for TBI? This is another responsibility for all of us. And we do it for our Jewball brothers. We do it so that there's some type of content to keep to keep things going, to keep this community going. Again, whether 5 people watch it, like Jordan said, or 20 people watch it, or 100 people watch it, who cares? It's all about us just having fun, talking about what we love, and that's playing football. And the fact that the next 6 months will be football less in our lives. And I know Yaron's going to try to plan some pickup games, but you know how those things go. 1 week it works, 1 week it doesn't work. It just won't be the same. But I got another surprise for you, Logan.
What do you got?
Well, I guess it's a surprise to the Jewball family. This guy just isn't done. This is like this guy.
Oh, he's back. He's back. No, he's muted. He's muted. He's back. He's muted.
Oh boy. No, you're still muted.
What do we got?
Moore is back. Moore, what's up?
I just wanted to say, Singer, you suck. I want you to know that getting the MVP off you, for everyone else that's a shock. For me, it's 3rd, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, whole of high school, your year in Israel, Shana Bet Gimel Dalet Hey, Vav Zion, whatever years you did. All right? You're awful, Singer. You're awful.
Oh man. That guy's money. That guy's money.
Honestly, I can't think of a better way to end this season, to end this show. Like, that's everything you want it to be, right?
Well, we were 3 balls in. We are now 3 balls out. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Logan. Thank you, Davo. This is PJ